Hello everyone, my name is Nate Cap and welcome to the 16th episode of Outcasting. And hopefully you guys are doing well and ready to further learn the science of natural law and objective morality. And if you didn't get a chance to listen to the last two episodes, number 14 and 15, I definitely recommend going back and listening to those so that way you have a better understanding, a better idea of what I'm trying to convey in this episode and future episodes. So today I just want to basically refine what I was already talking about and really help those who are having trouble understanding natural law and how it works and objective morality and how it functions, how the science really is in a way that maybe can help things start to connect. Okay, so that's what this show is really all about. And so when we think of a right, when we think of a wrong, most of us think of something that is granted by man. Most of us think that man is the one who gets to decide what a right and wrong is in our societies, right? But this is an illusion. It is a belief that we have created to withhold man's law, man's authority in place. So ever since we've been little, we have been taught to believe in man as authority. And this is one of the greatest, most dangerous illusions that we have ever taken part in. And this has nothing to do with because I'm saying this. This has everything to do with what's true in reality. And what we don't understand is that, or what most of us don't understand, is that man's law is based in fear, and it's an inversion of the true law in nature, aka natural law or universal law. And as we really look at this law, this lowercase l law, man-created law, we start to, dig deeper and see that it's a mental construct. And this mental construct is something that man has developed through ego. And because it's developed through ego, it's developed through fear. So it's a fear-based control system, or what I like to call an R-complex dominator control system. Okay? So basically, we have bought into this control system for a very long time. And it makes sense because it comforts our ego. So as long as we stay in fear and, of man, but also man, gives us the illusion of comfort or freedom, then we take that because our ego wants to be wants us to be comfortable, or the ego wants us to be comfortable. So we take this comfort and we stay with it. We fight for it. We want to stay in our own little bubble. Most of us, unfortunately. And because of this, it creates suffering for others. Even those who are comfortable in their bubble, they are suffering whether they know that or not. But anyway, the point is that what it has created is, these dominators, because it's a belief system. So the more that we give belief to this, illusion, okay, this belief system, this dangerous illusion known as the religion of authority, well, when we give energy to this illusion, it creates very inflated egos of man who think that they have all this power, which they do in their little illusions, or big illusions if you want to call it that. And because of this, we now see what most of us, or I would say maybe a very small amount of us, see as the New World Order, or the Great Reset. And this Great Reset is what these R-complex dominators have generated through the fear, feeding off the fear of the citizens, of the people, right? So this Great Reset is about resetting everything to their agenda, to their plan, to their, what they want to see happening in the world, what they see fit, right? And this is all through fear. Their fear and your fear, okay? And so in nature, there is an opposition, okay, which is truth. So man's law is not based in truth. Man's law is based in violence, which is based in wrongdoing, okay? But when we look at nature, what's true in reality, what's based in truth, what's natural, right? We see that this nature is the real position that we should be resetting ourselves into. So the emergence of the knowledge of natural law is in opposition to, the Great Reset of man. Natural law is the Great Reset because we, as individuals, have the ability now, because the knowledge has arisen, to take that knowledge and reset ourselves back into nature. Okay? So now we understand the inversion of the Great Reset, or the Great Reset of natural law. The inversion of that is the Great Reset of our complex, fear-based dominators. Okay? So, if we really want to understand what a right is in nature, we have to, what our rights are, okay, in nature, we have to understand what wrongdoings are. And I explained this very, very thoroughly in the last episode. So definitely go back and really listen to what I'm saying. Okay, so we can understand a right through the apophatic method. So affirmation through the negation. So basically seeing all the behaviors, the infinite behaviors in the universe of human behaviors of us who are people who have the capacity to know the difference between right and wrong, to understand the difference between right and wrong, to act out the difference between right and wrong. We have that capacity. We are the beings that have that capacity, that we know of, right? But we definitely know we do. Therefore, we have a responsibility. And what most people think a right is in nature is something granted by man. But if we look at our infinite behaviors in nature, in the universe, we know that there are 7 behaviors that if we are to perform those behaviors, we are causing disharmony in nature. And these 7 behaviors are murder, assault, rape, trespassing, theft, willfully lying, and coercion. Okay, so we have these 7 wrongdoings, 7 disharmonies, 7 behaviors that cause violence, or that cause harm, or that cause hurt, that, cause a disruption in the other people's or other sentient beings' reality. Okay, so if we're taking anything from anyone, that is a form of theft, which means it's a disharmony. And to support that, the ancillary, the secondary wrongdoing is what we also have to be aware of. So if we support violence onto others, we are also causing disharmony. We are responsible for the support of others being harmed or being violated. So a right is any behavior of man, of any human, of any being with the capacity to know the difference between right and wrong. A right is any behavior that does not cause or initiate violence or harm, okay, or to stifle someone's ability to be free. Okay, so if we are taking any freedoms from anyone, that is a wrongdoing. That is not a right. But any action, any behavior, anything, just think about it. Any behavior, just looking at a wall, walking into the water, sitting down, standing up, talking, saying whatever you want, as long as it's not a call to a violent action. These are all rights. We have the right to do whatever we want in this universe as long as it does not initiate violence or cause harm to other sentient beings. Beings with the ability to feel and perceive, life. So, if we really are having trouble with trying to understand the difference between right and wrong, it's because we're not really listening with an honest ear. We're not listening with the ear of our heart, right? We have to listen with our heart and we have to listen with our mind together, okay? And that is very, very important to understand. Because if we don't have an alignment of our heart and mind, then we are out of balance. So this is why a lot of people don't understand the difference between right and wrong, because they have not found their care. So we have to find our care. Find our care to learn. Find our care to listen. Find our care to do the right thing. Once we understand what a right is. Okay? And this brings me to another point that I think is so important to explain, which is the difference between morality and conformity. So, conformity is doing what everyone else is doing, regardless of whether it's right or wrong, okay? Which is what many people do. Not listening to their heart, not being honest, okay? Being blind, being sheepish, okay? And that's not good, because it doesn't do any good for anyone else. Even those who are conforming. It doesn't do anything good for those who are, the dominators, the ones who are, it does good in their minds and their illusions, but it doesn't do good for them as, a being that's connected to all of nature. it doesn't help the growth of humanity and the evolution of the human species. But so that's conformity. To conform is to do what everyone else is doing, regardless of whether it's right or wrong, which is mob rule. And morality is doing what is right, regardless of what everyone else believes or is doing. That is important. That is very, very crucial to understand. Okay? So, if we really are taking ourselves serious and want to see positive changes in this world, if we want to see things get better, because we can, there's still hope in this world. We can't give up on hope if we see so much negative in this world. Okay, we can't give up on that. And if you're one of those people who's like, all positive, doesn't look into the negative, that's not going to help us either. Okay, that's not going to help. We have to look at all sides, and we have to find balance. We have to find our center. So I'm going to explain so much more about natural law as I continue through these episodes, but I think I'm going to go ahead and end it there, and hopefully you guys are a little bit more, clear. Hopefully this information is helping, bring more of a high definition to your mind, or, more clarity to your mind, so that way you can really see further with the understanding of the difference between right and wrong. And it's an unfoldment. This information is an unfoldment. So, when you think of the lotus, the flower of the lotus, it just keeps unfolding, right? It just keeps going. And that is what this information is like. The difference between right and wrong, which is the science of natural law. Okay, so just keep pushing yourself as hard as you can if you truly care to want to know. And question what I'm saying. Don't just believe what I'm saying. Do your own homework. Do your own due diligence. And really look into this information, because it will be the greatest protection of your soul that you will ever discover. And I promise that. Okay? But you have to be honest with yourself. We have to be honest with ourselves in our endeavor to want to know the truth. So, if you want to learn more about these topics, you can go to cubbyhole.com, start at podcast number 1, work your way forward. Also, you can follow me on Outcasting with NateCap, or on Telegram under Outcasting with NateCap, where I post a new video every Friday at 7:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And, well, I try to anyway. And also, if you want to, if you're already following the Cubbyhole podcast, I'm trying really hard to put out a new podcast once a month. It's very difficult, but I'm doing my best, and that's something to look forward to, especially if you're all caught up on the episodes. So that's all I have for today, guys. So thank you for listening, and hopefully you guys are inspired, and I will catch you again soon.